Hello, everyone. We are here with Destiny Haynes. She does ads and she has wonderful results on Facebook. So, Destiny, tell us a little bit about you. Tell us what you do.
Sure. So, hello, everyone. I'm Destiny Hance. I'm more lovingly known as the Ad Babe, and I am a social media advertiser, which means I essentially run paid traffic and paid ads on all social media platforms, including Facebook and Instagram, TikTok, and Pinterest. So essentially what I do is I meet with a client and I determine their objective, right? Sometimes it's a traffic campaign when you're a realtor. Sometimes it's an engagement campaign if you want leads, but you have a slightly lower budget. And then for those that are really just ready to get leads and are willing to pay for them, I run a conversion campaign. So it's really interesting kind of the dynamic of how Facebook ads actually work. And I will be focusing more heavily on Facebook and Instagram ads because it's still the best platform to be running ads on. And it's not the best just because I say so. There's actual data that backs that up. There's
Tell us
actually
everything about it.
yeah, definitely. There's actually enough advertisers to literally go from here to the moon and back. There's so many people that want to run ads on Facebook. So it's important to be able to kind of stand out and have copy and creative that captures who you want to talk to and who you're actually speaking to. You have any other specific questions for me, or you want me to just keep rambling? Because I can keep rambling.
Oh, yes, just tell us
Okay.
everything, like the step by step what needs to be done when we do Facebook ads. What kind of results we can have on Facebook ads? Like somebody that is not familiar with Facebook ads, I just ask you a bunch of questions.
Okay, sure. So I mean, everyone, I think the biggest question I get, the most frequent question I get is, when do I start running Facebook ads? And the answer is whenever. I don't know why we kind of have, like, I feel like everyone is really kind of concerned about seeming desperate when they run ads. Like all their organic marketing didn't work, so now they want to try Facebook ads, and that's just not really the proper mentality to have. So what I often say is, like, Target and Nike, these big brands, they're not sitting down and cold DMing, a million people a day. They're just not. They're running advertising. So if you want to play like the big dogs, you need to think like the big dogs. If you want to build a brand, if you want to build a real company, you can't be cold DMing 140 people every day. It's just not going to give you the scale. So the alternative is to do a combination of both. Have really compelling organic marketing that speaks to your target demographic and is really phenomenal in kind of building a community. And then you bring more people into that community by running paid traffic. And this looks like Facebook ads. So when to start running ads, I would say, is really when you're comfortable with who you're talking to. And if you feel like, well, I don't have enough data to even know who I want to talk to, then I'm going to tell you, run some Facebook ads, because that'll tell you really quickly whether or not someone is actually interested in what you have to offer. And you'll know that because the data won't be good. So if you get bad results, you immediately know, okay, this demographic doesn't really like what I have to say, doesn't really like what I have to offer. So let me try a different demographic. And that's why I typically start my clients really broad with, a broad age range and everything. And then we slowly kind of narrow it down until we get to that real sweet spot where we're getting a good, at least 2 to 3x return on ad spend. So if you're, for those that need a little help with math, like I often do, if of course outside of here, if you spend $1, that means you're making $2 or $3. And ideally, what you want to do is spend $1 and make $10 or make $100, and then allow that to scale. So that's what we shoot for. We aim for that 10x, but of course we're always understanding that 2 to 3x our money is really worth it. So when to run them: when you're comfortable with your demographic and you're willing to actually acknowledge that you want to start a business and have a business and run a business that is successful and can grow like the Targets and the Nikes. That's when you want to start running Facebook ads. But if you just have a hobby, probably don't do it, because it'll just waste your money.
Gotcha. Yes, and because most people has a mentality like, does it really gonna work? Is it gonna work for me to, is it worth it for me to invest? And I think you just answered that question for a lot of people, because I was talking to a few of my friends yesterday and how excited we were to have this live, and they asked the same question. They were like, does it really work? What we need to do? Like we all don't know.
Definitely. And I often say everyone wants a guarantee too when it comes to
Mhm.
Facebook ads, and you can't get one. And my biggest thing is if somebody gives you a guarantee, you need to run the opposite direction because they are just flat out lying to you. The reality is no matter what type of marketing you do, there's no guarantee. So I can't sit here and say everyone in the world's going to get a 10x return. Like I wish that I could because that would make my job really easy, but I can't do that. What I can say is that we keep testing and we use the right knowledge and the right skills to hone your messaging in so tightly that you're able to have success. So I don't know, a lot of people are familiar with the brand Gucci, right? It's literally my favorite luxury brand. I'm kind of a Gucci snob, so big fan. But they just did a full advertising campaign. They spent millions of dollars on it and it failed. Like, we're talking about Gucci. They
Right.
know what they're doing, right? So
Mhm.
if they're failing at that, higher scale, there always is the opportunity that Facebook ads might not work. But I often say they're not working because you don't know what you're doing. If you hire somebody that does know what they're doing, the chances of you losing money and failing with them becomes so small that it's kind of like you have to take the chance. You have to invest the money and invest the time in trying them.
Yeah,
Does
I'm
that
so
make sense?
ready. I'm so ready to
I
invest.
know, I'm ready for you too.
Looking forward for this next chapter in my life, and I'm so
Yes.
excited that I met you.
Yay. And for I can talk a little bit about, real estate agents in particular. And I have two schools of thought. So when you're looking at a listing, you don't necessarily need to necessarily like be generating a ton of leads. Like you're not really going to have a lead magnet. What you're really trying to do is get more eyes on your listing because the more eyes you get, the more shares you get, the more people that become interested and then potentially become a lead. The sales cycle for a real estate agent can be quite long. So by making that first connection with them through a Facebook ad, where they go to a listing that they see of yours that they like, but they're not quite ready to take action, they're going to be much more inclined to stick with you. And I've often seen people will engage in a traffic ad, they'll go to a site or to a listing, and then they'll start following that real estate agent. So now your organic content, like I talked about in the beginning, when you post a new listing, they're way more inclined to actually see it and engage with it in a more organic fashion. So and then my other school of thought is when you're ready for leads, you want to get them before you may have a listing that they're ready for. So if you have a slightly larger budget and you're willing to actually invest in your business and in your marketing, there's something that's called a lead magnet, which is a free guide or a workbook or a quiz, anything you can think of that is a freebie that you can give for people. I've done like free mini courses, which is really cool, and they do well, but you want to give them a piece of content. You send them to a page to get that content, and then they give you their contact information. And then what you can start doing is nurturing them. So you now add them to your email blast every time you have a new listing. Or perhaps if you have their social media information, you can do a messenger campaign or a text campaign. So there's so much that you can do. And I often suggest start with traffic because you want to be able to kind of understand, who's actually going to the page, right? Like if you're targeting New York and you get no link clicks, nobody in New York is interested in that particular listing. And that's just we can deduce that, right? But if you go to South Florida, right, and you target South Florida and you get link clicks for less than 50 cents, there's a market there. So now when you go and you do your lead generation campaign, you can actually target that area and know that you're going to more quickly be able to get some quality leads. Does that make sense?
Oh,
It's
that's
a lot
makes
of information.
sense. I was gonna say, oh
Yeah.
my gosh, yes, that makes sense. Like now that I'm listening, and I think it makes sense for a lot of people. Because
Hmm.
sometimes we think we should go in one direction, and it's totally different than you said, and it does make sense. Yes.
Yeah, and jumping right into the deep end without knowing how to swim is probably the more dangerous thing you can do, or the most dangerous thing you can do with Facebook ads. If you don't really know what you want to say, and you don't really know that what you're going to say is going to resonate, don't go spending $25 a day to try to get leads. Start a little lighter, do $5 a day, run some traffic ads, and kind of build up your understanding of your audience, and then go from there. I don't know. I think we also think we got to jump right in and we have to got to spend all the money. We need to do all
Mhm.
the things, but it's like, don't spend all the money. Don't do all the things if it's going to be a waste. If you don't actually know what you're going to say, then say nothing. Just wait or test what you're going to say. There's no reason you have to jump straight in. You can still get really good quality traffic from a simple traffic campaign. So those are my schools of thought. Opinionated about it.
Awesome, Destiny. Is there anything else you'd like to share with us this morning? I think you explained a lot and
Yeah,
you were very thoroughly, but is there anything else you'd like to say or add?
I don't think so. I guess I would just say if you're interested in more information, like you know where to find me, and Denise knows where to find me, so she can
Yes,
tell
and
you
all the
where to go.
information, this is all the information is gonna be below. We're gonna target you and everybody's gonna know where to find you.
Yay! And buy your house with Denise, or sell your house with Denise. Do it. Just do
Yay.
it. It's the right thing to
All right, friend. Thank you so
do.
much for your time.
Yes, thank you for having me. I'm looking forward to seeing you tomorrow also. I'm so
Thank you.
lucky.
Yes.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.